So, a guy messaged me on social media the other day with a story that, from the onset felt wonderful, but took a downward spiral real quick. He thought he was in the perfect relationship. Loyal girlfriend, zero drama, everything smooth until one day he noticed something very, very small. A random coworker commenting under her posts. She laughed it off. Oh, he's just a friend from work. 2 weeks later, she suddenly turned extra sweet, loving, more affection, random gifts, more I love yous than usual. He thought, wow, maybe we're reconnecting. But in reality, she was covering her tracks. Fast forward a month, she tells him she's having a girls' night out, but her phone dies mysteriously and she goes missing till morning. Comes home smiling, holding coffee, saying, hey babe, I fell asleep at my friend's house. Now this guy wanted to believe her, and he did for the most part, until a friend slipped and mentioned a guy she was close to at work. That's when it hit him. Every extra hug, every late night, every fake girls' night was part of a cover-up. She didn't just cheat, she planned it. And that's why this video had to be made, because too many good guys like this get played by women who know exactly how to hide it. Indulge me. Music Jessica OS here. Welcome to the channel. Remember to always look out for the name Jessica OS, the channel name Jessica OS, to be sure that this advice is coming authentically from me. AI has taken over YouTube, unfortunately. RK, or he's like my brother, or babe, you're so paranoid, he has a girlfriend. Those lines are designed to disarm you. She's not just being transparent, she's training you to stop questioning that man's role in her life. And over time, you'll start to believe that he's safe. You stop noticing the texts, the long phone calls, or the fact that he always seems to show up when you two are fighting. See, women are masters at creating plausible innocence by introducing this friend. Very early, she gives herself cover for future interactions. The twist is sometimes that guy starts as a genuine friend. It's true, but emotional intimacy begins to grow and then the lines begin to blur. She starts venting to him about you, sharing things that used to stay between you two. And that emotional closeness becomes the bridge to something more. Let's be real, women rarely cheat with strangers. They cheat with someone who feels safe. Now, how do you spot it? Watch for energy shifts. If she suddenly becomes defensive or protective about that friend, that's your clue. If she goes out of her way to explain why they talk so much or starts hiding her phone when he texts, she's not protecting privacy. She's protecting a secret. Another red flag, when she starts comparing you to him in subtle ways like, oh, why can't you be like Josh, or Josh actually listens when I talk? These are emotional slips. She's already began idolizing the other man, so don't get distracted by titles, friend, colleague, mentor. Those words mean nothing if the energy between them says otherwise. Trick 3, routine manipulation. This is where women get dangerously smart because they know men trust consistency. When her routine looks normal, you stop asking questions. And that's why she hides the cheating behind her habits and not outside of them. Hear me, she doesn't suddenly start staying out all night or skipping work. That's amateur, right? Instead, she keeps her schedule identical. Same gym days, same hangouts, same girls' nights every Friday. Everything appears predictable, but what changes are the tiny details within that routine. Maybe she stays an extra 45 minutes after work because of a project. Maybe her yoga class now ends later because the instructor added stretches. Or maybe she just needs alone time to clear her head. The point is, she uses structure as her cover. Because most men don't question the familiar, they trust it. Here's how to spot it. You start to feel something's off, but nothing looks wrong. She's still posting on social media, still laughing at your jokes, still doing couple things, right? But her timing stops making sense. The stories don't fully align. She'll mention going out with friends, but forget the name of the restaurant they're going into. Conveniently, she'll say she left work late, but her coworker's post shows that they left hours earlier. It's the micro inconsistencies that give her away, not the big stuff. Cheating women know that suspicion lives in change. So, they avoid visible changes at all costs. They don't change their perfume, their hair, or their schedule. They just repurpose parts of their day for someone else. I guess what I'm saying is, if your gut tells you something is off, even when the surface looks perfect, trust it. Because when a woman starts hiding her chaos inside the normal, it's strategy, pure strategy. Trust is one of the most fragile currencies in human relationships. Once it's broken, the echo of betrayal lingers longer than any apology can repair. People who betray others, whether emotionally, mentally, or physically, often don't just lie about what they've done. They lie about why they did it, how they feel about it, and what they plan to do next. The truth becomes fog covered by charm, excuses, or selective honesty. But behind every false apology, behind every "it didn't mean anything," there are psychological patterns, tricks, that the human mind uses to escape accountability. Today we uncover 7 of those tricks, how they work, why they're used, and how to recognize them before they destroy your peace. The trick of justification, turning wrong into reasonable. The first and most common defense of a guilty mind is justification. A person who has broken trust will often create stories that make their betrayal sound logical, even necessary. They might say, "I was unhappy," or "you were too busy," or "I just needed to feel alive again." These explanations are not about truth. They are about emotional self-protection. It's the brain's way of saying, "I'm not a bad person, I just had a reason." But justification doesn't heal. It only paints the wound with words. The truth is, pain does not give anyone permission to create more pain. If someone truly values integrity, they will face their emptiness before they hurt another soul. When you hear someone defending their betrayal as a reaction to your behavior, remember this: there is no emotional equation where pain cancels pain. The trick of minimization, shrinking the damage after justification, comes the art of making things seem small. It was just a message. It didn't mean anything. You're overreacting. Minimization is psychological manipulation disguised as calmness. It's designed to make you feel dramatic for having emotions. The betrayer controls the narrative by shrinking it. But here's the truth. People minimize what they fear will expose their full darkness. Healthy. Healthy people expand the truth to repair it. Manipulative people compress the truth to escape it. When someone tells you to relax about something that clearly hurt you, understand what's happening. They're not trying to bring peace. They're trying to erase accountability. Silence, patience, and observation become your best weapons here. Watch what they do, not what they say. The trick of distraction, changing the spotlight. This one is subtle and dangerous. When caught or questioned, some people redirect attention to your flaws. Suddenly the conversation shifts. "You don't trust me. You're insecure. You always think the worst." The betrayer flips the script, and now you're defending yourself instead of the truth. This psychological redirection is a form of emotional self-defense. The mind feels cornered, so it attacks the questioner. The goal is not to solve the problem, it's to survive the moment. Remember, when someone changes the subject to avoid accountability, that's the moment you've touched the truth. Don't follow their distraction. Stay centered. Say less, listen more, and never let the focus drift from facts to feelings designed to confuse you. The trick of rewriting the past, selective memory, human memory is elastic. People who betray trust often reshape history to make themselves the victim. They'll say things like, "We were already falling apart," or "You didn't care about me anyway." These lines are psychological rewrites designed to justify betrayal by reconstructing the past. It's like taking a story that was once beautiful and editing it until it sounds broken. This rewriting is how guilt turns into self-pity. When people can't face the mirror, they change the reflection. They convince themselves that they were pushed into betrayal instead of choosing it. The counter to this manipulation is documentation, emotional and factual. Keep track of what really happened, when it happened, and how you felt. Facts anchor you when someone tries to twist the timeline. The trick of emotional flooding, tears instead of truth. Sometimes, instead of lies, guilt hides behind emotion. A person who's caught may cry, panic, or act deeply hurt by your confrontation. They'll say things like, "I can't believe you think that about me," or "You're breaking my heart." This looks like vulnerability, but often it's control. The emotional flood confuses your empathy. You start comforting them instead of seeking answers. It's not always conscious. Sometimes people genuinely feel pain after being exposed, but that pain often comes from being caught, not being sorry. The difference is in behavior after the tears. More springs change, performative pain brings repetition. Never confuse emotion with transformation. One can cry out of guilt and still plan to repeat the same betrayal once the storm passes. The trick of comparison, everyone does it. To normalize betrayal, some people dilute it through comparison. Everyone lies sometimes. Relationships are complicated. You've made mistakes too. The mind craves balance. It wants to feel equal even in wrongdoing. So instead of facing the gravity of what they did, they try to drag the standard down. But morality isn't a democracy. Wrong doesn't become right because others have done it. Every act of betrayal is personal and specific. When someone tries to level the ground by comparing mistakes, they are not trying to connect, they're trying to escape the weight of truth. Hold your boundaries strong. You are not obligated to join the chorus of lowered standards. Let their comparison reveal their character. The trick of temporary change, acting good until you forget. Perhaps the most deceptive tactic of all is short-term transformation. After being caught, many people enter what psychologists call the redemption phase. They suddenly become the perfect partner or friend, affectionate, apologetic, hyper-attentive. They text you more, they remember your favorite things. They do everything right, for a while. But often this is not healing, it's performance. The goal isn't to rebuild trust, it's to reduce tension. Real change is slow, uncomfortable, and consistent, even when no one is watching. Temporary change fades when comfort returns. If you want to know someone's truth, watch how they behave after the storm calms. That's when performance dies and character speaks. Forgiveness without observation is blindness. Give time, but keep your eyes open. The psychology behind the tricks. Why do people use these tactics? It's not always because they're evil. It's because facing guilt threatens the very foundation of the ego. The human brain is designed to protect its self-image, even at the cost of truth. Guilt and shame trigger a primal fear of rejection. Instead of confronting the pain, the mind creates illusions, defense mechanisms that make wrongdoing feel less wrong. In psychology, these are called cognitive dissonance strategies. When actions and self-perception don't align, the brain reduces the discomfort by rewriting reality. I didn't lie, I just didn't tell everything. It wasn't betrayal, it was confusion. The bigger the lie, the stronger the illusion. But illusions can't survive forever. Truth is gravity, it always pulls things back down. Healing from betrayal, what you must remember. Healing is not about punishing the one who hurt you, it's about removing the power of their lies from your nervous system. You can forgive someone and still never allow them back into your peace. You can understand their psychology without accepting their behavior. That's maturity. The process starts with awareness. Once you recognize these 7 tricks, you become immune to them. Awareness breaks manipulation. Then comes acceptance, the hardest step. Accepting what happened does not mean you agree with it. It means you stop fighting the reality of it. The truth is heavy, but denial is heavier. Finally, you must rebuild trust, not with others, but with yourself. Betrayal damages self-belief. You start doubting your instincts, your worth, your choices. To heal, you must return home to your intuition. You must remind yourself that your ability to love deeply is not a weakness, it's your greatest strength. Never let someone's deception make you hate your own empathy. It is empathy, not cynicism, that makes you human. The art of recognizing hidden motives. Every act of deception leaves traces. Body language stiffens when words contradict feelings. Eyes flicker when truth meets fear. But the real signals are emotional, not physical. Pay attention to how you feel around someone. If your peace keeps shrinking, your body is already warning you. The mind can rationalize lies, but the nervous system always knows. Anxiety, confuse. Scion or emotional exhaustion after every interaction is not coincidence. It's communication. Psychologists often say, if you feel crazy around someone, check who benefits from your confusion. Those who manipulate always need you uncertain because certainty ends their control. The journey of recovery, recovering from betrayal, is a spiritual process as much as a psychological one. At first, anger becomes armor. Then sadness becomes silence. Eventually, acceptance becomes wisdom. One day you realize the betrayal didn't destroy you, it revealed what you were meant to outgrow. Forgiveness is not about letting someone win. It's about choosing not to let their shadow live rent-free in your mind. Every time you refuse to hate them, you reclaim a piece of your peace. People often ask, should you give someone a second chance? The answer is not in your mind, it's in their pattern. If their actions repeat, the answer is no. If their humility is consistent, maybe. But forgiveness should never be blind. It must be informed by behavior, not promises. The power of clarity. In the end, betrayal is not the end of your story. It's the beginning of clarity. The moment you see through manipulation, your spirit upgrades. You stop chasing validation and start protecting peace. You learn that closure doesn't come from an apology. It comes from understanding the truth. So when someone uses these 7 tricks, justification, minimization, distraction, rewriting, emotional, flooding, comparison, or temporary change, don't get angry. Get clear. They are not showing you how bad people are, they are showing you how afraid people are of the truth. And fear is the shadow side of love. Once you see that, you stop fighting it. You rise above it. Final message. If you've ever been betrayed, remember this: you didn't lose a person, you lost an illusion. You lost the version of them that existed only in your hope. That's not tragedy, it's liberation. The truth may hurt for a moment, but lies hurt forever. Choose truth even when it burns, because it purifies. Lies comfort, but they rot the soul. Betrayal is a mirror that forces you to look inward, to see what parts of you ignored red flags, what parts of you craved validation, and what parts of you believed love meant sacrifice. Heal those parts, not for revenge, not for closure, but for peace, because peace is the final revenge, quiet, strong, and irreversible.